It's another day, the sun is shining. Got to know what's going on around you. Wake up, it's the time to motivate your mind. Come with me, let's make this moment brighter. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Come on and wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Wake up with the Bahamas and sunrise. Hey.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. We're up there early on another fantastic Friday, and it's fantastic because you're up with us. I missed that whole thing just now. My name is Mark Daniels.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Tamika. Happy Friday to all of you. Mark is having a great Friday, obviously.
It's a great Friday when we get to wake up with the best crew in television and with the best viewers, the best followers. All the years, we've been on TV, everybody who walk up and say, man, Bahamas at Sunrise, I've been watching that since TV was in black and white. Yeah, we in high def now.
Oh, my God.
How was your week, Tammy?
Yeah, good week. It was a really, really good week. I'm still seeing people in the stores getting ready for back to school. Some kids have already started, you know what I mean? So it's been an exciting week, I think, for most people, and the college kids are going off. So I got my son that's off, you know what I mean? So the house is a bit more quiet now. What about you?
Did you cry when you left?
No, not this time.
Not this time.
No, because we've done this before. This isn't the first time. So
Tears of joy.
No crying. We're past that stage.
Yeah, we're just about all set. I was going through the list, and man, these children foot grow so fast. I say, just buy shoes for y'all in the middle of summer. Now I gotta go buy shoes. So I don't know which line I can be in, but y'all can see me in some line between now and Monday buying shoes for the children. But give
Between
thanks.
now and Monday, that's not a lot of time.
Think about that Monday, 8 o'clock on the way to the campus. But it's been a great week. We're all excited that school is kicking off next week. The kids are excited. The teachers are excited. I see the schools getting put together. I was in Abaco this week. Man, I see the school down in Crossing Rock getting paint, the wall finishing up, man. Everybody is ready.
Everyone's ready. And this is an important time for teachers in the classroom to be establishing the rules. This is where this is the no smiling week, right? We're not smiling, we are serious, we're establishing those classroom rules. You know what I mean? Because this is when the kids try to test you.
They can test.
Believe it or not, this is when they are testing the waters.
They can test it. Everybody's brain is still a little fried from summer. So give them a bly. The first week, ease everybody in, and then we're off and running to another successful school year. Before we kick it off, we got to invite you to the 21st Abaco Business Outlook. It's happening on Thursday, September 18th at the Abaco Beach Resort. Yes, Abaco, we coming back. We can register $150 in person, $120 for students, $70 for virtual. Register today at tclevents.com or call us at 322-1000. As always, we got a great show for you today. It's hot. It's dead hot. So we got the Department of Public Health to be talking about how to keep yourself safe in this heat. And we're also going to be talking about the Abaco Business Outlook.
That's right. And the Bahamas National Statistic Institute, they are here to discuss the quarterly GDP and GDP by island reports. And we'll also be discussing AI and cybersecurity. But before all of that, let's take a first look at weather with Mr. Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Tammy, and good morning. We'll have your first look at weather at sunrise. We have a meandering frontal boundary across central Florida, and that's going to trigger off some showers and thunderstorms in pockets across Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini. Some of them move into the Andrews and the Province here by afternoon, so you can expect some cloudiness during the weekend. A little weak high pressure across the central southeastern islands. They're looking pretty good, partly sunny throughout the weekend, but elevated chances start on Sunday night. Today, a mix of sun and clouds, hot and humid. 30% chance of a few showers, isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northwest Bahamas. Your high temperature 92, heat index 105. Tonight, partly cloudy and muggy with a few nighttime showers, maybe a thunderstorm popping up. Your low going down to 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And some region highs and lows across the Caribbean, Barbados 92 and 80. In Jamaica, 95 and 79. In Trinidad, 88 and 76. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 92 and 78. Across North America, Atlanta, 80 and 65. In Boston, 71 and 57. In Miami, 91 and 79. Dallas, Texas, 87 and 71. And Toronto, Canada, 66 and 54. As we go to the weekend, the big frontal boundary will be there, trickling off pockets of showers, particularly Grand Bahama, Bimini, and then we have some troughing that will elevate rain chances starting Sunday, Monday into Tuesday. So we can look at increased cloudiness and showers by the end of the week, early next week, with some showers and thunderstorms. So temperature daytime will be in the low 90s, at nighttime upper 70s. That puts you up in your first look at the weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, Godfrey. As students head back to school, the rising temperatures can make it challenging to stay cool and safe, especially while in uniform. Today, we're joined by nurse Joanna Bethel Chambers, and she's here to talk about heat health and how to share some practical. She's going to share some practical tips on how we can beat the heat this school year.
Yeah.
Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Tip number one: always wear white.
Always wear white. Light colors always work.
I know,
Dark
right?
colors are really not
Stay
recommended.
away from it. Right?
Hello. Yes.
So why is heat health important?
Heat health is important because heat health related illnesses can go unmasked, and they can go masked as well as other illnesses. Like persons may feel like it's though they're having a heart attack, they may be having a stroke, and that may not be the case. It may be related to something that is in the environment that affects our body temperature. Once the environmental temperature is elevated, our body temperatures have to increase as well to accommodate the environmental heat. Climate change is real, and we see it every single day. We've had heat wave after heat wave. Most of us have struggled through it, and some persons have actually been admitted to the hospital for symptoms that are heat-related illness-like. And because they have chronic illnesses, they may be pregnant, they may be elderly, they may be children, they are high-risk categories that we look out for.
So I know, we grow up in the Bahamas, and people be like, "Oh man, we live in the sun, man.
Of course.
We can be all right."
Of
Like,
course.
why is that a wrong way of looking at this?
Well, to be honest with you, any tropical climate is at high risk, puts the population at high risk for heat-related illnesses. And the Bahamas is uniquely placed on the map. If we look at our map, we are close to that Tropic of Cancer line. We are always hot. Even our winters is not considered winter. I have an uncle that lives in Boston, and when he hears me say I'm cold at 73, 75 degrees, he's like, "What you talking about? I'll be out in my singlet." And I'm here feeling so strange that I'm feeling cold.
Yeah.
But the reality is, once you're in a hot climate, your body temperature will adjust to that particular environment. And for that reason, the harmful rays of the sun can pose a threat to our health. And especially when we have heat-related illnesses, that poses a threat to our brain health, our neurological health, and our heart health.
So back to school is kicking off, and
Yes.
not everybody rides in a vehicle with AC to school. We have some children that walk to school. Some of them catch the bus, and then of course you're on the campus all day. So what are some
Yes.
practical ways we can keep our kids safe with this heat?
And not to mention, I've heard a lot of discussions lately about the uniforms and the rebranding of the uniform styles with neckties, which will, inhibit the movement of the neck. and it creates more heat. It keeps the heat more condensed to the body.
Right.
All right. So basically, if you're not in an air-conditioned environment, you have to stay hydrated. I can't say that enough. When I say hydrated, I'm not talking about drinking a soda,
The
a Coke
ginger ale,
soda.
like,
No.
Vitamol?
We have healthcare professionals are guilty as well. We love to start our day with coffee. We love our Coca-Cola. We love to, some persons unfortunately still do smoke. So these kind of activities are not advised for hydration. Water, water, water. H2O
Yeah.
is the best. It's clear, it's pure, it's cheap. It's probably the least expensive drink that you can find anywhere. Because what you give out, when you sweat, you are losing fluids through the skin pores, right? So you need to replace that. If you don't replace that, you're not only going to have horribly dry skin. For those persons who suffer from skin conditions like eczema, you will have an even worse outbreak. Psoriasis, you will have an extreme outbreak. But if you don't even have those conditions, your skin will naturally dry out. Once your skin dries out, it's like a desert. You can tell that underneath, which is your internal organs, are also going to suffer. So hydration, to me, even if you don't have air condition, you wear as many light colors as you can. I know we like going out and about. Look, we outside, okay? This ain't pandemic time anymore. We're outside. The summertime, we've had a lot of summer camps that have already passed, and now it's time to go back to school. You may not be in a pool, and even if you are, being in water does not make you less likely to get sunburn, to be affected by a heat-related illness. So definitely you want to hydrate, wear light-colored clothing, make sure you know the signs and symptoms of what a heat-related illness is.
Yeah, what are the signs and symptoms?
That is very important. A lot of us mistake it for other illnesses, but it's very general, and it can sneak up on us in a matter of minutes and seconds. One of them would be you start having that dizzy, faintish feeling. You may start to sweat more, or you may actually start to feel your heart rate increase. You may have a weak pulse, as well as you may have a very rapid pulse. You can literally feel it pulsating in your neck and every part of your body. You feel anxious, you feel nervous. You may have cool and clammy skin, or your skin might be extra dry. You may just be in a state of delusion almost, to the point where I know what I'm supposed to be doing, but I don't know. No, that's not just forgetfulness.
That ain't old age.
That ain't old age. All right? Now, even though our elderly are the high-risk category, and that will add to the problem, we want to look at the fact that you can actually be incoherent at a certain point in time. And eventually, persons who have underlying chronic illnesses like seizures, epilepsy, you can actually have a seizure episode as a result of prolonged exposure to the heat. And you can also have a heart attack or a stroke.
Wow. And then there's so much to consider, and some, you don't really think about, it's just a little bit of heat, just a little bit of sun.
Yes.
I do field work, so I'm out in remote places, and I was out this week in Alco.
So you said.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I front load on water before we hike out from the vehicle, but by the time I take 10 steps, my clothes are soaked, I'm drenched.
Every 15 to 30 minutes. You should be rehydrating with water, not alcohol. No. I mean, kudos to all of our beverage companies out there. Wonderful. I love your stuff. Yes, but I don't indulge. But I will not say that it's the perfect hydrant for you to consume.
Cold burr.
No.
Don't do that.
And see, we always do that. We do Vitamals, we do the Cold Bears, we do a Coca-Cola, we do energy drinks. We have to look at any drink with caffeine. Anything with caffeine, any substance with caffeine, medications. We have to look at persons who are on medications that have different components that can actually add to the problem. Caffeine is one of them.
So we're sending our kids off to school. When should a teacher or a parent be concerned and contact a medical professional?
When you see a student that is lethargic, meaning they're feeling weakish, they may be complaining of severe headaches, they may even have blurry vision, they may have difficulty seeing the board or reading the book or the computer right in front of them. They may be slouching on their desk, or saying they need to be excused to go and see the nurse if they have a school nurse or their guidance counselor. They may ask to even call their parent because they're not feeling well. And one of the #1 signs that we do recognize, especially amongst young kids, is that you may not see those symptoms and they may not be able to express it to you, but they may start vomiting. They have that nauseated feeling. They start crying uncontrollably, and you wonder, what's wrong? What's wrong? What happened? I don't see anything that's wrong. You don't see anything physically wrong. And they can't express themselves. Right. So that may be one of the times when you need to remove them from a hot environment, put them in a cooler environment, rehydrate them. You have to remain calm in the process. Don't get frantic, because you will cause them to stress out as well, and that even exerts more energy.
All very helpful tips. Such a serious consideration dealing with the sun, with this heat.
Yes.
We appreciate you coming on the show this morning. Make sure the children can dress in light clothing.
Yes.
If you could drop them off to the bus stop,
do.
drop them to school in
Please
Lazy,
do.
please do that. Buy a nice reusable water bottle that can hold ice and keep water cool.
Even an umbrella.
Even an umbrella.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
And we thank you again for coming on the show this morning, Nurse
Thank
Chambers.
you. Yes.
And hopefully we'll bring you back again. And
I look forward
for a
to
little
it.
update.
I
Thank
look
you
forward
again.
to it.
You're watching Mamas at Sunrise. It's hot. Keep it cheering cool. Be right back.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
The Bahamas International Dragon Boat Festival hits Goodman's Bay on August 30th and 31st. Are you ready to feel the rush? 2 days of adrenaline-pumping races, vibrant cultural shows, tasty treats, and fun for the whole family. Whether you're paddling or just enjoying the vibes, this is the end of summer event you can't miss. Feel the rhythm, ride the dragon, celebrate the spirit. The Bahamas International Dragon Boat Festival, August 30th and 31st at Goodman's Bay.
For more information, go to vcdragonboat.com.
When hurricanes and emergencies strike, timely information can save lives. That's why Alive Business brings you bulk SMS messaging, your essential tool for staying informed and safe. Imagine having critical updates and safety tips delivered right to your phone, anytime and anywhere. With bulk SMS messaging, you can send real-time alerts and updates and timely notifications. When every second counts, count on Alive Business bulk SMS messaging. For more information, contact the experts.
Today marks not just one achievement. We've gone through 15 years and
It's complex. It's a statement, not just about Leno, but about, as you pointed out, Bahamians, and what we can do when we believe in ourselves.
I am beaming with pride. Leno has come a far way. Of course, we are celebrating 15-year anniversary, but more than that, we're also celebrating this beautiful edifice, this beautiful 7-story building.
Lots of people are clamoring to come in here just to be a part of this beautiful landmark.
This isn't, oh, we build a building and then we're going to stop. We want to continue to grow. Let's move forward.
Hurricane preparedness is important, and it's easy to get stressed and anxious. The Bahamas Psychological Association is here to remind you it's okay to feel that way, and to take a moment for yourself and to do what it takes to put your mind at ease. Play games, cook your favorite meal, exercise, and if it helps, reach out to family and friends. It will make a difference. This is a message brought to you by the Bahamas Psychological Association.
Welcome back. This morning, we're taking a closer look at the country's economy through the latest reports from the Bahamas National Statistical Institute. We'll be discussing the quarterly GDP, which tracks how the economy performs each quarter, and GDP by island. And here to discuss this with us are Clarice Turnquist. She's the Deputy Director and Division Head for the National Accounts and Business Establishment, and Ms. Tira Newbold, National Accounts Supervisor. Ladies, good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise. So we're talking numbers, GDP. Just tell us, what is GDP and why is this important?
Well, the GDP of the Bahamas is the gross national product. Gross domestic product, sorry. For lack of a better term, it's generally like all of the profits of all of the businesses within the country. So it's the revenue, and you take out what is called the intermediate consumption. So that's most of the expenses like your electricity, water, rents, and what's left, that's called the gross value added. Okay. Those combined along with taxes and takeaways, subsidies on the production side, that would be your gross domestic product.
Okay, and why is it important for Bahamians to know the GDP?
Well, the GDP is like an economic checkup on the country, how it's performing, whether it's growing or declining. So based on how businesses are doing, how government expenditure is, household expenditure also contribute to GDP. It would tell us how the economy is doing.
Okay. And what are some of the key highlights for the 2024 quarterly GDP report?
So the quarterly GDP showed that every quarter of the 2024, the Bahamian economy grew. There was only a slight dip when compared to the previous year in the third quarter, but every quarter there was growth.
Okay. And how do you all calculate that? Like, I mean, because I know you were saying the homes, the businesses. I'm just trying to think from my perspective, how do you go out and do that? How's that information gathered?
Well, we follow what's called the System of National Accounts. It's an international standard provided by the United Nations, and all countries around the world use that calculation.
Okay.
We have a team, a small team, that's trained in the calculation. So we take a lot of information from businesses, we take central banks information, we take government expenditure information, we take household expenditure, like the survey that's in the field now. We take the household expenditure, and there are two forms of calculation that we use in the Bahamas, the production approach and the expenditure approach. And both of these measures, as you would imagine, would give you a different figure. But it's just, a slight difference.
Okay.
That difference we then share, and that's called a statistical discrepancy.
Okay. And for you, were there any standout industries that drove the growth last year?
Well, in particular, in 2024, the data was driven mainly by wholesale and retail trade industry and the construction industry.
Okay, all right. So those were the areas that were, I guess, higher, right? More. Okay, all right. And then looking at the GDP by island, when you think about, how New Providence fares against Grand Bahama and the Family Islands, what could you tell us about that?
Of course, New Providence being the capital and where most of the activity is happening, that is the largest in terms of the percentage that the GDP is created from. And then there's Grand Bahama that follows, and of course, Abaco is next in line.
Okay, all right. So how are our other islands doing, and what do they need to do to kind of bring up the GDP?
Well, all of the islands have a contribution. The data is collected from those islands. Everybody, as she said, submits their revenue, their expenditure. And so for them, they just need to continue, maybe expand the operations they're doing, try to offer new services, look at services that are being offered in New Providence that they can now provide in those islands to try and increase what's happening there.
Okay, and you mentioned construction, but what role does tourism play in the GDP?
Oh, tourism is extremely important. So you know that when the tourist spends, for example, purchasing accommodations, they ride in taxis, they would purchase at the straw market, in the stores down on Bay Street, or in a hotel, or anywhere that a tourist purchase, that tourism expenditure adds to the GDP on the expenditure side, as well as it would be calculated in the revenue of the business where that expenditure is done.
Okay, all right. So when do we do the GDP again? When's the next phase?
Oh, the team is working right now.
Okay.
We're working now on the half-year GDP. So that would give us an indication of what the economy is looking like, or has looked like, up to June of 2025. But it's a constant cycle. We're always working to get the numbers out, but we would have another annual next year, March.
Okay.
The half year is due at the end, fourth quarter of this year.
Okay, and how can businesses and policymakers and even the public use the data to make a difference?
Well, we depend on businesses, as Ms. Turnquist said, to respond. When we have sufficient businesses responding to our business establishment survey, that assists us in having a more robust numbers. We would not have to estimate for the business. Businesses can look at how the GDP has grown, look at areas in the economy where there might be deficiencies, and you could probably open a business in that area.
Okay, all right. So where would they get this information from?
Well, the information is available on our website. We have a website that you can go on. That's right now under construction, so you can also reach through you can call the office at 604-4000, and the receptionist will direct you.
Okay, so for people that are watching, what would you want them to know about GDP and how they can even, just boost the economy at the end of the day?
Well, I think they need to understand that the economy is very important. Growth is extremely important. It allows householders benefit, businesses benefit, and so their contributions, supplying the data, allow us to make accurate estimates they can use.
Okay, and any final words from you?
I would just like to reiterate that it's very important for the public to respond to our questionnaires. I know that we have a mandate at the Bahamas National Statistical Institute to collect data, and GDP is one of the end deliverables of that data. So we need household information, we need labor force information, we need businesses to respond to the business establishment survey and to every survey that's in the field by the Bahamas National Statistical Institute.
All right, so we have to do our part then to help you all out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, ladies, it's been a pleasure having you both on. Thank you so
you.
much for sharing all this wonderful information with us.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Bahamas at Sunrise. Be sure, fill out those surveys and do your part. We'll be right back.
Alive Business is giving you a chance to win a brand new office suite, compliments of custom computers, Boss, Huawei, and Royal Bank of Canada. It's simple. Just pay your Alive bill on time and keep your account current, or sign up for Alive Business Fiber. Boost productivity, enhance your office space, and take your business to the next level. Don't miss out. Stay connected, stay current, and you could be the big winner. For more information, call the experts at 242-601-8911.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station, open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Abaco is getting ready for the 2025 Abaco Business Outlook under the theme Prioritizing Inclusive Sustainable Growth. Joining us this morning, Mr. Kerry Fountain. He is the Executive Director of the Bahamas Out Island Promotion Board. We also have Mr. Emmanuel Alexio. He is the President of the board and owner of the Abaco Beach Resort. And they're going to share with us the outlook for business and tourism in Abaco. Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Mark.
How are you? Good morning. Pleasure to have you here. Kerry, man.
You look so sprightly so early.
Hey, that's how we do it. We up there early every day. Actually, I just came from Abaco. I was in Abaco the past couple of days enjoying the natural environment, and so I'm all charged up and ready to push through the weekend. All right?
Good.
Best place to be. Let's jump right in. Mr. Fountain, how would you assess Abaco's recovery in the post-Dorian, post-COVID environment, and how far has the tourism sector come in regaining stability?
Mark, I think Abaco, quite frankly, and not a lot of people know, but Abaco is being one of our shining stars. And at the promotion board, we're not in the business of counting heads. We count room nights sold and room revenue. And if we compare Abaco in 2025, and I'm talking about year-to-date numbers, January through July, if we compare those numbers in terms of room nights sold and room revenue to what we were doing in 2019, I just made some notes. And we're talking about the same hotels. So I'm not talking about if we had more hotels in 2019 or less hotels in 2019. We're talking about comparing apples to apples, Same hotels to same hotels. The room nights sold so far, January through July of this year, totals about 15,237. You compare that to the same period in 2019, it was 14,600.
Wow.
So we've seen like a 4.4% jump. Now, here is where it really gets interesting. The room revenue, and I wouldn't share the numbers, but the room revenue in 2019, and today, January through July, compared to January through July in 2019, our room revenues are up 70%.
Wow.
So the hotels are, they're seeing slight growth in terms of occupancy and slight growth in terms of room nights sold, but exponential growth in terms of room revenue. And that's what we're in the business for, to make money.
Well, that's very encouraging news. You've heard that Abaco has a lot going on. There was a lot of rebuilding after Dorian, after COVID, and so it's good to hear that those numbers are trending positively. Mr. Alexio, from your perspective as an Out Island resort operator, what are some of the biggest challenges currently impacting Family Island tourism and limiting profitability for resorts?
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for allowing us to join your team. Leading from where Gary says, the revenue's gone up tremendously, but so have the costs. So it's not all rosy. It is rosy, but it's not as rosy as it may sound. The biggest part, of course, is you have high costs of utilities. Supply is inconsistent. When people are paying such high fees, which the room revenues have gone up tremendously, they're expecting to have their air conditioner working when they on holiday, and to have their internet, and to have their the utilities. So we need the utilities. Cost of operation in general, productivity of the staff, not the rate. The rate is fine, but the productivity of the staff, the level of service of the staff, your insurance, repairs and repairs cost a lot more. We have a short season. We only have about 40%, 45% occupancy. So the big part of it is cost, the cost of getting there, airlift. So the biggest challenge is really cost.
Right.
And then competition with Airbnb and the cruise ships, and then the whole boating world is it's a whole story. I hope we get a chance to talk into that as well.
Yes, it seems that there are a number of challenges facing resort owners like yourself. Mr. Fountain, are there any specific initiatives by the Out Island Promotions Board to help relieve some of the challenges and difficulties that resort owners are facing in Abaco?
Yeah, I think the major initiatives, when we start talking about profitability, yeah, we do, we help with all of the advertising and the PR and the sales, make sure we're attending the right trade shows, consumer shows, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But, we have to address our product issues. And Manny said it a couple of minutes ago. Number one is, how do we take advantage of our proximity? We're 52 miles away, but the cost of getting to the Bahamas doesn't equate to our proximity. Proximity doesn't equate to affordability. Right. And so we have to address that. We cannot continue to kick that can down the road. That's number one. Number two, Manny mentioned it again, we're not in the business of just helping our hotels to make money, but helping them to to cut costs, and also helping them to, Sandy Sands says it correctly, to get rid of some of the red tape and roll out more of the red carpet. And then last but not least, and I don't want to sort of hide this, how do we get the companies, cruise lines, that are leaving the largest environmental footprint with their 9 million, almost 10 million passengers a year, how do we get them to contribute more to the revenues, to the coffers of the government? And then how do we use some of those funds that we collect from the cruise lines to address some of the product issues? Yeah. And to help perhaps even look at reducing the cost of getting to the Bahamas or to Abaco, to the Out Islands, if you're flying. So those are some of the key product initiatives. And I think if we address those, then it makes everything else that we're doing, our promotions, our sales, it just makes all of those things easier.
Yes. Mr. Alexio, interested to hear your perspective on what strategies would be most effective for operators like yourself in allowing you to be more competitive, to have more profitability, and to be more resilient in these times.
Lowering costs is obviously a big thing. Creating off-season interest in the Bahamas. Like the Bahamas, 1.7 million stopovers hasn't changed for quite a while, quite a few years. And one of the reasons claimed is that we don't have sufficient hotel rooms. But when you count the out 45% occupancy, developers have spent a lot of money, and we do have a lot of rooms. And so, yes, we can certainly encourage more development, big hotels, but how do we fill all these collective rooms, which probably amount to equal to, if not more, than the big hotels? How do we get them filled more? So we need to create off-season interest. We don't have enough hotel rooms to have the big basketball games and other things that Atlantis or Bahamas can do. What can we do for the out islands to create those environments, get the hotels together there, create smaller events, et cetera, on an annual basis that'll fill up the gaps? That's one of them. Of course, leveling the playing field is a big thing. When I say that, I mean all these other operators, and there's so many different types of clients. I like a cruise ship. I will always go on a cruise ship. I'm not against cruise ships. I'm not against Airbnbs. We're all part of the tourism product. But how do we make sure that they contribute their fair share of costs, and not all the expansive burden of taxation and everything else falls only on the hotels?
Very true. Very, very true.
And on the hotels that are contributing the greatest amount of revenue.
And employment.
This conversation is going. If you want to catch more of this discussion, you need to come to Abaco Business Outlook. We have Brother Fountain and Brother Alexio. They're going to be speaking and presenting. I want you to be there in person so you can walk up to them, continue the discussion, ask questions, and let's find solutions to make sure that our out islands and all of the resorts and operators are doing well as we push through the remainder of this year. Unfortunately, we have to go, gentlemen. We can talk all morning about this, but I appreciate your insight and your wisdom. Looking forward to being in Abaco. Abaco is where it's at. Thanks for being on the show.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
Take care.
See you guys on the
Bye-bye.
18th. You're watching Moms at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
Hey family, step into sophistication at Dash Designer Boutique, number 13 Parliament Street. There you find a wide array of colorful, elegant fashion for ladies. Shop brand name clothing and shoes such as McDougal, Bashley Mishka, Sam Elderman, Jeffrey Campbell, and Jessica Simpson. We've got you covered for the office, date night, red carpet events, and more. Also check out our stunning accessories. That's Dash Designer Boutique, number 13 Parliament Street. Open 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Tuesday through Saturday.
The Euro device is very affordable. It allows you to increase your internet connectivity. You are able to do away with the buffering, say goodbye to the dead spots. It gives them a much more stable connection. Their customers are able to view their digital menus. The establishment is able to stream. It allows for everyone, the customers and the business operators, to have a much more robust and stable internet connectivity.
Good morning and welcome back to Bahamas at Sunrise. Having a great time on another fabulous Friday. It's the Mitch Show, and you stuck with us. My name is Mark Daniel.
I'm Tamika Cartwright. It's a wonderful Friday. Great first half of the show, right?
Right. We had a discussion about heat illnesses and how to make sure our children and our at-risk population are safe, because it's hot, and it's hot. It's not a regular hot.
No, this is a different kind of heat.
Yeah, dead hot, right?
Dead hot.
And I enjoyed my conversation with Brother Kerry Fountain and Emmanuel Alexio, talking about Abaco, all the great things that are happening there, and what we need to take take Abaco and the other out islands to the next step. And we got to relieve the burden on our operators, right?
That's right. And the team was here. We were talking about the country's GDP. Very, very important. And it's important for Bahamians to do their part, fill out those surveys so that they can get the most accurate information when they are reporting.
Well, we're looking forward to our weekend, and we got a special segment coming up. We're going to be hearing about the upcoming party and mingle events, paint and mingle events. It's a live art festival and paint party. We're going to have Brother Preston Howner here in the studio. Prestonism.
Hey, Prestonism sounds like something you're going to be going to.
Yeah,
I could feel the energy, feel the vibe. There you go. And we're also going to be talking about AI and cybersecurity and the basics and what parents need to know to keep their children safe. But before all that, let's take another look at weather with Mr. Godfrey Burnside.
This is Weather at Sunrise.
Thank you, Tammy. Good morning, Mom. Just second look at weather, sunrise to tropics. And we have a tropical wave that should move off the coast of West Africa on Sunday. Conditions are conducive for slow development over the next 7 days. It's moving towards the west-northwest at 15 to 20 miles per hour. And there's a 20% chance of development over the next 7 days. Elsewhere, tropical storm formation expected during the next 7 days. On the local scene, we do have that weak frontal boundary oscillating north and south and creating some showers and thunderstorms over the Grand Bahama, Abaco, Bimini area. A couple of them will move into New Providence here by afternoon and Andros. And then on the weekend, we expect troughing to elevate rain chances for the first part of next week. In the marine forecast today, those winds east to southeast are 10 knots or less, seas less than 3 feet over the islands. On Saturday, light and variable, seas 1 to 3 feet northwest Bahamas, east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet or central and southeastern islands. On Sunday, continual light and variable, seas 1 to 3 feet northwest and central Bahamas, and should be southeasterly at 10 to 15 knots, sea 2 to 4 feet or the southeastern islands. Yeah, tides. Just had a high tide at 6:19 this morning. A low tide at 6:19 this morning. High tide will be at 42 minutes past midday. Low again this evening at 7:06. Sunset 7:29 this evening. Rising more at 6:50. UV index 9, your water temperature 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and your moon phase. We're now moving towards the first quarter. Extended look, like a mix of sun and clouds over the weekend, but increasing cloudiness comes Sunday, Monday, with some showers, isolated thunderstorms. Those showers and thunderstorms will be normally during the afternoon hours for the most part, or the northern islands will be most of the day for the most part off and on. Temperature daytime will be in the low 90s, at nighttime in the upper 70s, and yes, the heat index about 108. And then we still have that heat diversion in place from 10 o'clock in the morning to 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That puts Robbie and Fun look at weather at sunrise. I'm Godfrey Burnside. Back to you, Tammy.
Thanks, Godfrey. Artificial intelligence and cybersecurity are no longer buzzwords. They're realities that today's students, parents, and teachers must understand, from safe online habits to the impact of AI on education. Knowing the basics is absolutely essential. Joining us this morning is Hanil Bowe, admissions coordinator and student support specialist at ISBET Bahamas, and Sega Thompson, founder and CEO of Genesis Security Consulting. Good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Oh, good morning.
All right, so AI, cybersecurity, oh my goodness. How do we feel about what's going on with AI in our country? Why don't you start?
I feel like AI is something that we're just cracking or just getting a hold of, and there's a lot more to learn, especially from the educational standpoint. I think that there's a lot we can use it for, especially when it comes to analyzing what capacity the student is in their learning and where they can go. I think that a lot of teachers can use these tools as well in terms of helping them to better be efficient teachers, and then also using this to help the students to learn faster and even improve the way they learn.
Right. And when we think about AI, you know, when it first came out, you saw like all of these different images of these artificial beings and, you know, people come in, like robots come into life, and it was a bit scary, right? But tell us, what exactly is AI?
AI is simply machines doing what normally people would do. They just perform tasks that we would normally associate people doing. That's it, in the most simplistic way.
Okay, all right. And when we think about AI, because at first, like they said, it was a buzzword, and people were a bit concerned that kids are going to go online, they're going to have AI do all of their homework and whatnot. But there is a place for it, right? So as an educator, what would you say is the place for AI when it comes down to students?
I would say the place for it is an aid, right, and not a crutch. We don't want to overly become dependent, but we want to use it for its strengths. Like Ms. Thompson mentioned, being able to have it as a tool, using it to help sharpen ourselves. Because, for example, a lot of kids today, they use the AI ChatGPT, which is like the most popular one. They're using it to help them with a lot of their work. It's not to be relied upon in that way, but you can almost, how would I say, use it as a sharpening edge for your mind. If something is incorrect, okay, this is correct, explain to me why. And so there's advantages in that particular sense.
And are we at the stage where teachers need to be trained on how to utilize this in the classroom? Are we doing anything with that?
Of course, of course. I think that a lot of teachers can use this in that particular sense. It's just getting them familiar with the tools. I think that being able to be trained is something that's needed for sure, because again, this is all new. For example, I'm sure like 100 years ago, when they came out with the computer, things like that, people at first were like, what is this? You don't know something's full potential at the beginning until you start to use it in various different ways.
Yeah, and I think now too, the role of the teacher has evolved, right? Before it was, you were the educator, you told the children all the information, they regurgitated that information. But now kids can go online and learn whatever it is that they want to, right? So we are so much more the facilitators. But I'm a little bit concerned about parents, right? And just just from a security standpoint, what do parents need to know when their kids are approaching or using these devices?
I think the number one concern would be prompts. A lot of the AI's tools don't have guardrails in there per se. They're still working on them because AI, in a lot of cases, is self-learning. It learns from behaviors that it's seeing, and those can be manipulated. And of course, bias is entered because it uses our interactions, and that we all have some inherent biases in there. And so for parents, you need to be concerned because predators do use AI tools to try to get to your children as well. And then as well, you want to make sure that your child is, like he said, not using it as a crutch. You don't want to have your child just go into ChatGPT and say, hey, write me a paper on this, and use this because they've learned some prompts, but then it's still mostly plagiarized and they have not really sat down and thought about anything. They're not actually learning anything that way.
Right, right. And you did mention about, like the pedophiles or whatnot. So how does that work? How does that work? How do people, or how does AI sort of, tap into, the kids through this particular device?
Let's use something like Roblox, and simply because it was in the news recently. Roblox has a chat feature. When you do your AI prompts and stuff, there is some responses that is anticipated, and some of them can be a little on the sexual side if you don't pay attention to it. And I think as children of different age, even adults, we just say things and sometimes it's the intent. And I don't think that it's inherently bad, it's just that sometimes we don't consider that a child may ask this because when we were children, we weren't exposed as much as these children are today. Right. So it's things like that you have to be inside, because you can also use AI to catfish somebody.
Right.
You can use AI to cyberbully somebody.
Right.
So all those things, and they come back more as anonymous sources, and it just makes it easier to do things. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not so good.
Right. So what should parents be doing then in that case to prevent that?
I think what you do is really depending on age groups. Most schools have parental controls in it. Like I always tell people, I have a 6-year-old nephew who is about that Roblox life, but my sister doesn't allow him to do the chat. He can add friends, but he's not allowed to actually talk to anybody on the game. So all of his friends that actually on it, they're people he actually knows. So he will call you to say, hey, where are you? We play it.
Right.
So it's things like that to help you verify. And I think you still once you have those enabled, you still have to, trust but verify. Make sure you know what your child is doing.
Right.
Make sure you know what tools they are downloading, what tools they're interacting.
Right, that's so important, so important. And then for you, how can teachers introduce AI in the classroom as a positive tool?
I would say the best route for them is to not run away from it, right? We already know that the kids are using it. I think introducing it into the classroom as a means to help with an assignment, or just showing them how it is to be used properly, in a sense. In their spare time, they can obviously use how to. There's lots of YouTube, or there's even institutions online that they can actually go on and they can actually search and find out how to use. And then that way they can introduce it to the classroom in a proper way, whereas they don't have to worry about if my student is overly using this in their spare time, or have to check it afterwards to only find that they're plagiarizing all their work.
Yeah, absolutely. Any final words you want to say to the parents that might be watching and want to keep their kids safe?
All I would say is AI is a tool like any other. You have to make sure you teach your kids the right way to do it, how to use it, to make sure that they are not out there prompting AI to do things that go against ethical issues and things that you would actually want them to learn.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, it's been such a pleasure having you on. This is definitely a hot topic. I'm sure that we'll have further conversations in the future, but thank you for everything that you've been doing just to, enlighten people about this topic.
Thanks for having us on.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've been watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll be right back.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Focal Holdings Limited is proud of its consistent growth and the financial success it continues to bring to many Bahamians who invest in the company. Focal is committed to ensuring optimal financial performance for its shareholders. Focal's leadership remains focused on superior customer service and operational excellence across all sectors. Focal, fueling growth for people.
Hi, I'm Ria Christina, and I'm super excited to be the new host of You and Your Money, local international banks that has actually been closing some of their branches. It actually gives me an opportunity to share my views, my take on the financial matters. Even when we think about what's happening globally, we still have a lot of work to do in terms of having to educate business owners as to the importance, the economic impact, and how it is that we can look at improving the Bahamian economy. $1 billion. That's how much we spend every year importing food in this country. It also gives me an opportunity to have conversations, and that's meaningful conversations with thought leaders within our community, even having to see how it is that we can work together, or even the opportunities that may exist for many Bahamians. So I'm excited to be here and looking forward to the great conversations that's to come.
Welcome back. Paint and Mingle is bringing art to life with not just one, but two exciting events in a single day: live art festival and a paint party. Man, that sounds like the best combination ever. Joining me now to share all the details is Preston Hanna. He is the owner of Paint and Mingle. Brother Preston, good morning and welcome to Bahamas at Sunrise.
Good morning, Bahamas. Thanks for being here.
We up dead early. Prestonism or nothing, right? Tell us a little bit about Paint and Mingle. How did it get started and what was the idea behind it?
So Paint and Mingle started with the idea of creating a platform to help young artists and
to create a positive outlet for people.
Right. And so there's 2 events happening in one day. Tell us a little bit about both.
So the first event is 12 to 5. It's the first annual live art tournament. Well, it's not a tournament. It's where artists get to express themselves. So often we find that, you go to places, you see the artwork, but you get to see the artwork being created in real time. And then 8 o'clock, there is a paint party later on. So everyone is able to come and express themselves.
Sounds like we can come and hang out all day.
Oh, yeah.
12 to 12.
Definitely.
For those who experience it for the first time, what is it like? You are creating your own art, you're under the instruction of a professional like yourself, and you're also socializing with like-minded people. What's the atmosphere like for someone who's never been to one of these?
So the most generalized answer I always get is goosebumps. Because it's definitely a feeling, it's something new, and to be in a space where you're vulnerable, where people get to see you work, it's very interesting.
Right. And I've seen, the footage. We know your work. We've seen it all around. It almost feels like it's an honor to be taught by Brother Preston. What can people experience or expect to experience at this event, or both events?
So basically, come with an open mind, and come and meet the artists, learn some different techniques, talk to the artists, get to know them. When you come to the paint party, just, again, come open-minded and be free to paint.
Right. So why do you do this? Why host this event? What does this mean to you to have an event like this?
Well, I'm an artist and also an educator, and I know the importance of having a positive outlet. You see all kind of stuff happening in the country. It's, you don't want to be a part of the problem, be part of the solution.
Right. And we have 2 wonderful events. Tell us, when is it happening? You told us the time and where.
Okay, so it's going to be this Saturday at Ice Bahamas, and that's opposite BWI. And the second event, 8 o'clock, is going to be by Ciroc Seafood Restaurant, the Farm and Wine.
Awesome. Is there a cost to attend?
So the live art festival is $10, and then for the other event, if you're painting, it's $50.
Oh, and see, that's a steal, man. In one day, you can get 2 wonderful events, less than $100, and you have a lifetime full of memories. And we get to take home some whatever I paint, I can take home with me. Right?
Of course.
Yeah, man. You gonna paint something?
We'll see.
That's good. What do you want to say to persons who've never attended an event like this, and maybe thinking about doing it? They're thinking of a date night, a family night, the friends are in town. What do you want to say to them about this experience and encouraging them to come?
Well, it's back to school time. It's perfect that you guys come out with your little ones to Live Art Festival, because we have a kids corner where they could do sip and paint with like sodas and juice. But then we also have bunks and castles for the kids, and then for the adults, we have something for you guys as well. It's going to be a fun evening.
I agree. A fun day in and of itself. If people want to find out more information, how can they find you or more information about the event?
So on Instagram, PaintMingle242, and also on Facebook, PaintMingle242.
Boom! Prestonism! I mean, man, if y'all ain't know, this man is multi-talented. We could talk for an hour about all the things he's going to do. But right now, we're talking about Paint and Mingle, Live Art Festival, Paint Party, happening tomorrow. Congratulations in advance, and looking forward to more of these to come, man. Keep sharing the art with us all.
Definitely, thank you.
I can't draw, I gotta come and learn. You're watching Bahamas at Sunrise. We'll see you at Paint and Mingle tomorrow. Prestonism. We'll be right back.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
Today marks not just one achievement. We have gone through 15 years, and today we're culminating the opening of this building. And this is our national headquarters going forward.
This building is no ordinary office complex. It's a statement, not just about Leno, but about, as you pointed out, Bahamians, what we can do when we believe in ourselves.
I am beaming with pride. Llano has come a far way. Of course, we are celebrating 15-year anniversary, but more than that, we're also celebrating this beautiful edifice, this beautiful 7-story building.
Lots of people are clamoring to come in here just to be a part of this beautiful landmark.
This isn't, oh, we build a building and then we're going to stop. We want to continue to grow. Let's move forward.
And that is going to do it for us today on Bahamas at Sunrise. Kicking off your weekend in the best way possible. Man, we got a lot going on this weekend. What you doing this weekend?
So much going on. Looks like we're going to be doing the paint and mingle.
Boom. Paint and mingle.
We got tickets.
We got paint and mingle.
We're going to paint
on.
the sunshine for Bahamas at Sunrise. There you go.
There
That's
you
as
go.
much as I can do.
We got a lot of events happening this weekend. Back to school is in full effect.
Yes.
Monday, everybody is on the road. Make sure to take your time. Get what you need to get done this weekend. But take some time and enjoy the weekend with the family. Go to Paint and Mingle. You can go to the Chinese Dragon boat race. There's so many things happening on the island. Just be safe this weekend and stay hydrated.
There you go. You can't go anywhere. You have to go buy school shoes.
But yeah.
Focus. Stay focused.
That's okay. We can cut off the toe part of the shoe and they can be okay. See y'all on Monday. Have a great weekend.
Oh, gosh.